There is no drill here, ladies and gentlemen. Officially, we're in emergency mode. According to reports, Remy Ma is in critical condition, and her family is pleading with the public for prayers. The same woman who went to the bar for bar with Nikki, who is currently battling her life after returning from prison like a queen. The physicians aren't sugarcoating anything, which is even worse. One insider nurse reportedly stated, "We're doing everything we can, but it's not looking good." According to many sources, hold on, what? How did she end up? Why are we keeping all of this so quiet? Furthermore, why is Papoose avoiding interviews with the media after being seen at the hospital with a folder in his hand and tears in his eyes? Chest. And that's not all. A stolen voice memo, a poisonous betrayal, and an enigmatic guest who visited her hospital room only hours before things went south are all the subject of circulating rumors. You see, this is more than just a health scare. This is something far more profound. Ladies and gentlemen, believe me, none of this was intended for you to hear. Let's go back in time by 72 hours since what began as a standard medical examination evolved into one of the most terrifying celebrity health crises we haven't seen in years. Remy Ma and her physician were to be the only guests for the intimate appointment. No media, no cameras, no security. But by midnight, more nurses were being called in by medical staff. We saw Papoose pacing. Ray's mother sobbed outside the intensive care unit wing and in the hallway. What on earth took place? An EMT who wished to remain nameless told our source that Remy passed out minutes before she was scheduled to see a private health consultant. She wasn't responding, according to the EMT. Her breath came in short gasps. To avoid being noticed, they hurried her through the rear entrance. The whisper began at that point. Because it was more than simply fatigue. Stress wasn't the only thing. There was more to this, something concealed, and nobody close to her would discuss it. Let's be honest now. Making headlines is nothing new for Remy Ma. We've witnessed her emerge from prison, make a comeback in the rap industry, compete against Nicki Minaj on wax, and walk the red carpet with the dignity of a Bronx queen. This, however, is different. Internal hospital communications that were brought to light by a whistleblower from the doctors gave the administrative team a level 4 confinement procedure, which is usually saved for patients who are in serious medical distress or who may need a lot of privacy because of media attention. Why? Due to Remy Ma's reported 42-second flatline prior being brought back to life. Flatlined indeed. On a private healthcare forum, a nurse anonymously reported that the patient in room 14 needed complete emergency assistance. The patient's vitals were unstable when Code Blue was activated. Families are warned to become ready. Remy is the patient in 14B. The worst part is that her family was unaware of it until several hours later. Why? Because Clarissa was the only person there when everything happened. Shields. Yes, Clarissa. This is the same Clarissa who has made headlines for her alleged bond with Papoose rather than her boxing prowess. The same Clarissa that allegedly stopped by just minutes before everything went wrong. I went to check on Remy. Is it a coincidence? Please. According to sources, security footage shows Clarissa leaving the hospital with a noticeably distressed expression, holding her phone tightly, and muttering something that staff were unable to understand. According to one hospital janitor, she heard the words. She ought not to have clicked on the mail. What's the message? For whom was it intended? And why did Ray's phone abruptly disappear after going gone for more than 2 hours? Resurfaced, sanitized? There's a problem. In addition, Remy and Papoose were seen arguing angrily at a private gathering in Harlem a few days prior, and Clarissa was also observed arriving late and departing early. Witnesses reported that Remy appeared exhausted, preoccupied, and at one point she excused herself for more than 20 minutes to use the restroom. Fans are already posing the obvious question. Was Ray's collapse truly a medical emergency? Or was it the last straw following weeks of psychological strain, pressure from within the family, and the purported treachery that has been simmering in the background? According to rumors, a private note was discovered in her personal suitcase. A letter purportedly detailing months of professional pressure, emotional neglect, and intense anxiety of being replaced. That, ladies and gents, sent shivers down our spines. The letter is said to contain the following quote. I've always been the strong one, but I'm tired of holding everything together. If anything happens to me, just know I tried to protect us all. Papoose, meanwhile, has mainly been quiet, and has only shared a black square with a caption on Instagram. The crown is heavy. There are no pictures or updates, just the words "pray for her." And the supporters are going crazy. Another TikTok fan went viral with the tweet, "You're going to act like Remy." Another user wrote, I knew something was off with Clarissa being around so much. Remy deserves peace, not pain. Hashtag pray for Remy. This has been building, and guess what? Didn't you seem completely dead inside on that previous red carpet? They're not incorrect. This is not an isolated instance. This isonithing that has been simmering beneath the surface for months coming to the surface. The abrupt weight loss, the mysterious subtitles, the cancelled concerts, and the reports of late-night disputes between her and Papoose. This is where it all begins. Now that Remy is not conscious, Her with the family rushing around and Clarissa refusing to respond to any questions from the media. The stillness is becoming unbelievably loud. What happens now, though, is the question. Because no one wants you to know what we're going to disclose next. The voice memo, the lost file, the hospital leaks, this tale is going to blow up in your face. The internet went crazy as soon as the rumors appeared on blogs. Remy is awake. The last person to see her was Clarissa. A black square was posted by Papoose. However, nothing, and we mean nothing, could have forewarned the public of what was about to happen. A voice memo that was purportedly taken from the hospital's internal messaging system was leaked. And by shocking, we mean shocking on a level that may terminate a career. The female voice in the memo that is thought to be Remy sounds breathless, emotional, and drowsy. I've seen the texts, but they believe I don't know. The messages between them are visible to me. I'm not insane. I simply can no longer do this. I'm worn out. What was she discussing? According to hospital insiders, the message was captured during a private check-in when Remy, who was still aware at the time, was discussing stress, sleeplessness, and feeling mentally damaged with her nurse. However, things worsen. Only a few hours later, it seems that a second file, yes, a second file was leaked. This one is purportedly from an intimate exchange between Clarissa and an unidentified caller that was accidentally captured on a hospital hallway intercom system. She will not succeed, the voice muttered. I made it through this. And to be honest, I no longer give a damn. This is something she caused herself. The reaction was instantaneous. Social media became a battleground. Twitter blew up with hashtags such as #CheeserExplored, #PrayForRemy, #What did Papoose know? Fan pages do? Fan pages changed their profile pictures to candles. Fan edits of Ray's best moments were all over TikTok, accompanied by depressing music and comments like, "She didn't deserve this." However, as fans grieved, a fresh surge after a close member of the family purportedly said that Papoose had been suspicious for weeks, speculation began to circulate. That anything was in Remy's phone. That he was aware of Remy and Clarissa's change in energy. Said he advised Remy to interrupt her and she didn't. This leads us to the following twist. Allegedly, Papoose engaged a private investigator. Indeed, we're talking about a wiretap-type investigator with a full-on trench coat and sunglasses. The PI, whose name we won't discuss it for legal reasons, but it was allegedly found that Clarissa frequently visited Remy's house without permission while Papoose was away. In addition, there are dubious screenshots of Clarissa texting a person named Pap at strange hours that are making the rounds online. You do the math, then. Fans have been making connections despite the fact that none of this has been formally confirmed since, of course, it hasn't. Let's dissect it in this manner. Remy passes out. Inexplicably. There was Clarissa. Papoose is quite quiet. There are 2 voice memo leaks. Furthermore, a third source now affirms that Papoose had already had suspicions about something fishy. Additionally, let's not overlook the Clarissa's burner account contained deleted tweets that admirers discovered through AI analysis. It was purported that one tweet said, "She acts like she's untouchable. Watch how quicks turn." The message vanished in a matter of minutes, but screenshots remained for eternity, and in the meantime, TMZ unintentionally published a picture of Papoose leaving the hospital late at night, appearing absolutely shattered. Papoose exits the intensive care unit crying, holding private documents with red eyes, slouched shoulders, a hoodie over his head, a folder in his hand, and the headline. This is where things start to spiral out of control. In less than 6 hours, a GoFundMe page that claimed to be raising money for Remy's long-term recovery care raised $40,000. However, Papoose wrote on Instagram a few hours later, "Please, we didn't start this, don't give to anything until it comes from us directly." Who initiated it, then? Who is making money off of her suffering? There is a wild hypothesis that the leaks and the phony fundraiser were both orchestrated by a certain public relations agency that is notorious for scandal flipping. Additionally, the name was associated with that company, a colleague of Clarissa's manager. This cannot be made up. In fact, we can, but that's not the main idea. Fans are turning on in the meantime. Each other in the comment sections. This is the result of failing to maintain your peace. No, Remy was too good for them all the time. Clarissa is dishonest. You don't go to your friend's place at 1 in the morning. Merely to make sure. Papoose was aware. He simply had no idea how to stop it. No formal charges have been brought as of yet. No press conferences. Clarissa made no remarks. Who did talk, though? Lisa, Ray's cousin. Yes, a mysterious Instagram story was shared by the same Lisa who was present at her 2007 sentence. This is not the first time that Remy has been deceived. However, you all tampered with her life this time. A potential love triangle, an unconscious rap icon, a disorganized stack of voice leaks, dubious direct messages, and fans demanding the truth are all on the table right now. However, they are unaware that Papoose is about to alter the rules of the game. Because another piece of this puzzle was just released by a hospital insider. Remy's room received a sealed envelope, tagged as private for Calvin alone. Papoose is what Calvin implies. And what was inside that envelope when it was opened? A secret medical evaluation of Remy's health and how she got there was included in the envelope, according to a hospital insider. Blood reports, stress level measurements, a complete breakdown, and evidence of medication that wasn't prescribed to her. Yes, exactly. There were indications of sedatives, the type that, if taken in excess, could result in disorientation, exhaustion, and even coma. Additionally, a second nurse wrote on a private Reddit forum, despite the hospital's lack of a public statement asserting the following: her consumption chart did not match the results of the tests. Either someone changed her treatment before she arrived, or someone gave her something she was unaware of. It's more than just a mystery now that it might be illegal. That's when Papu lost it. A family friend claims that he arranged an urgent legal meeting from the hospital chapel, with all of the family members within earshot, the lawyers on the line, and the phone on speaker. He insisted on a thorough examination, not only into the medications, but also into the visiting logs, the surveillance videos, and yes, Clarissa's role. Because, as you may recall, Remy's room was last seen by Clarissa before she passed out. Additionally, the released hallway video clearly demonstrates that she was the soul earlier that day. One had asked for exclusive access to Remy's chart, a transfer that typically needs medical approval. What was she doing then? Clarissa's group released a brief statement. She went to simply a friend, nothing more, but many didn't believe that because another clip was leaked immediately after that. Hazy, low quality, yet authentic. It depicts Remy and Clarissa fighting close to the nurse's station. Clarissa looks away, trembling visibly. The timestamp ends just before Remy passes out, and her face is pallid. The internet was now in complete chaos. Fan responses were intense, disorganized, and divided. She attempted to contaminate Remy. No, Remy was on a downward spiral. Don't blame Clarissa. If this is true, Papoose had better burn it all down. A voice note appeared just as things were becoming too messy. It wasn't Remy this time. Amber was the one, and former acquaintance of Remy's who became a distant associate and possibly an enemy. Amber has a chilly voice. Calculated. It's not my problem if this blows up. Leverage was what Clarissa desired. I only assisted in its delivery. What do you deliver? At that point, Papoose and his legal team revealed the truth. Citing malicious intent, they submitted a motion for temporary restraining orders against Amber and Clarissa, interfering with a medical emergency. And that's not all. Outside the hospital, Papoose hosted a private news conference. Only an official statement is permitted. No journalists are permitted inside. This surpasses all headline, more significant than music. My wife's life is in danger. We're currently fighting for the truth. And they paid attention. Stars began to speak up. Cardi B shared Remy's picture again with the "This don't seem right." Praying hard. Joe wrote, "Real ones don't collapse when the heat comes. We ride with Remy." Nicki Minaj even liked a tweet that said, "Say what you want," but that alone received 12 million views in just 8 hours. No woman deserves this. The board verified that several employees were being questioned over chart tampering and improper file access, as the hospital initiated an internal audit. Still, Remy Ma stated and sent to a safe wing. No cameras, phones, or Clarissa, only family visitors. Papoose, he is still inside the building. He has reportedly been dozing off on the hospital sofa, consuming cafeteria fare while recording everything in a little black notepad. He is calm, concentrated, and seems to be building something, according to one nurse. And he is since 2 days later. Papoose posted a video called Simply, The Truth to Remy's official YouTube page, and no glitzy cut, no introduction, just him sitting next to Remy's bed with her hand in his. Even though we've experienced a lot, this nearly broke me. We won't remain silent about what they did or attempted to do. If something occurs, please understand this, my wife. It will not remain unanswered. With 3 words, he concluded the video. We're not finished. The world listened. The section for comments blew up with backing. Supporters prayed. Attorneys provided pro gratis assistance. Even erstwhile adversaries started contacting them. However, not everyone was content, because Papoose got an encrypted email a few hours after that video was released. One sentence, no sender. You're not prepared for the following step. What does that signify? A digital security specialist who looked over the metadata claimed that the email might be traced back to a device that was previously connected to Amber. Clarissa's legal team is now allegedly preparing for a full-scale defamation lawsuit, alleging that the claims, voice notes, and leaks were unlawfully circulated, severely modified, and AI edited. Papoose isn't giving up, though. Now he's getting ready to release a documentary series that tells Remy's tale after receiving approval from the hospital. His manner. First episode. The day that everything was different. For the first time in days, Remy opened her eyes back at the hospital. What happened while I was out? She muttered, according to her cousin Lisa, and Papoose simply replied, everything. At this point, they are preparing their next course of action. Additionally, recuperation is no longer the only focus. Exposure is the key. Retaliation is at issue. It has to do with fairness. Because what began as a health scare has turned into a full-scale media battle. Papoose isn't only fighting, either. For the life of Remy, the system that attempted to break her is being destroyed by him. Furthermore, metaphors are no longer being discussed. Genuine names, genuine subpoenas, actual court papers, and the last chapter. And it hasn't even begun yet. Therefore, you couldn't be more mistaken if you believe that this was the end of it. The question is no longer only what happened to Remy Ma, who did it and why they were prepared to put her life in danger to accomplish it. Are Clarissa's shields simply enmeshed in the confusion? Or is her function more complex than she is making it out to be? Was Amber acting by herself? Or did she simply represent a much greater danger? Furthermore, what precisely was contained in those sealed documents that Papoose is so protective of? There is more to this than just a scandal, ladies and gentlemen. It's a betrayal plan. The worst part is that it might not be finished yet. Please leave a comment below if you think Remy deserves justice. Tell us what you believe Papoose is actually planning if you feel that he is being too quiet. We would also like to hear any theories you may have about what may happen next. Strike that, the next chapter might leak at any moment. So click the subscribe button now and turn on the bell. Here at Gossip Spill Vibe, we reveal the truth rather than merely documenting the chaos. Stay tuned.